today, toward the end of our session, I'm Jan Little, and I have two registered dietitians from the Delaware County area, and Colette Pester and Angela Bilbrey, who lives right around the corner. Colette, who works in Delaware County. And I think what I'll do is simply ask them about what they do as registered dietitians today. Colette, why don't we start with you? What do you do? And tell us about that.
Well, currently I'm providing one-on-one inpatient counseling for people with diabetes, thyroid conditions, and weight management. That's out of a physician's office. And then I also provide group education for individuals with diabetes.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. So when you work in outpatient, it's not like it's a bedside type counseling. You probably do have access to their medical records, and that must make it a lot easier to understand what to tell them.
That's true. In this particular practice, we work together with physicians and nurses to provide a total care package for the patient so that we communicate with their labs, their medications, and then their food histories to make sure that they're getting what they need.
That sounds wonderful. I know when I worked in the hospital in outpatient, I didn't have that information because they would come from private physicians who would refer them to me, which was fine, but I wouldn't have their lab values. I wouldn't have that kind of information, so I had to get it from the patient, what the patient was able to give me. Often taking their height and weight that day. So it's wonderful that you work on the team approach and have that information available. It must be helpful to you.
I agree. It is awesome to have a dietitian on the medical team so that they can provide that extra component that sometimes gets overlooked in a brief physician's visit or things that people wouldn't necessarily share with their doctor, but on one-on-one counseling they're more open to reveal in regards to their health.
Yeah, it's their time, and you know what to ask them, and your whole expertise is nutrition, so it's your time and your role on the team. Thank you. And Angela, you live around the corner right now, but you've had a few years behind you of being a registered dietitian. Do you want to tell us about that?
Right. I used to work in the long-term care industry, so I was seeing residents on a one-on-one basis, talking to them about obviously the medical history, and then we also did a lot of weight loss counseling regarding that. And now I'm starting my own private practice, so I'm out marketing myself and trying to build a client base for people who are interested in living better and being healthy.
Now, we've been talking about how our education is very rigorous and specific, and yet somehow it's broad enough where in 5 years of being a dietitian, you can go from working in a long-term care industry to starting your own practice. I think do you want to speak about that, how it is in your training and skills and education you're able to do that?
I think you get a lot of experience in the college curriculum and accounting and finance and things like that, but also in the internship that we're required to pass, or the internship we're required to complete. You get a lot of business skills there. They're really focused on making sure that we have business skills, and if you want to start on your own, they give you the tools to be able to do that. And I don't think every industry has that necessarily.
No, and actually I would say that's pretty new for dietetic internships. The one I took in the mid-70s, I liked it very much. It was more about teaching and learning. So that's what I got out of mine, but not starting my own business, and I think that's very helpful for today. I think today's students would like that. Kids in middle school and high school would like the idea that you can go off and do your own thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet they would.
Yeah, it's nice that they give you the tools for that.
Yeah. Now, how long did you work in long-term care? A couple years?
I was there about a year and a half.
It's a very demanding industry, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Our residents are demand. They're fun though. It's nice you get to grow with them. You get to see where they're going and if they're achieving their goals or not, and you have to keep coaching them and see where they end up. It's interesting.
I know when I've been in long-term care, it seemed that when I said demanding, I also meant maybe the legality of it or making sure you document everything. And
That's true in every setting.
Yes, definitely.
And yours as well.
That's true, because you're responsible for the individual's health status, and as part of the medical team, you do need to document just like everyone else to make sure that they're getting their needs met.
Oh, and obviously nutrition's important. If you have to document everything, it's because it is important. Like hydration, it can make such a difference with an older person, somebody who has diabetes. It doesn't take much for somebody to become dehydrated, healthy or young or old.
That's true. That's very true.
Don't you think that if we had, if we analyzed everybody's body composition today, we would find that many people just walking in here were dehydrated, at least mildly? Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think people drink enough. That was one thing I always told people they need to drink. Just forget about it. You think about eating, you get hungry. Being thirsty, I think, is a little bit easier to ignore. So, and thirsty, that's kind of a late sign. So
That's true. That's
most
true.
people don't think about drinking. They think about eating, but not necessarily about drinking.
And that's the thing about long-term care. I know when I've worked in it, hydration,
Yes, definitely.
constantly. Because if we don't notice being thirsty, you can bet somebody older doesn't notice that they're thirsty, and
Right.
suddenly, their skin isn't quite the way it should be and leaves marks and that kind of thing. Pressure ulcers are big.
Right. Yes, you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, it's all about prevention. That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we don't want it to have a pressure ulcer that costs $10,000 to heal. We want to prevent the pressure ulcer to begin with. And who wants to feel that way either? The painful thing.
Right. Nutrition is truly prevention, and in that case with hydration and long-term care, and also in diabetes management, that's a big connection there that individuals have to make, that their nutrition can help them prevent long-term issues. It's true. Nutrition is truly prevention, and in that case with hydration and long-term care, and also in diabetes management, that's a big connection there that individuals have to make, that their nutrition can help them prevent long-term issues. It's true.
In diabetes care with prevention, do you ever find that people, of course, I'm sure they get better and feel better, but do you see how they changed their lives? Needing medicine or being able to do things they used to do? Can you describe some, not people's names, of course, but cases where you've seen people make a difference in their lives?
Oh, sure. I've met quite a few patients who maybe have had the condition for a few years and just have never faced it, and then once they get the support and the education from someone like us, they really grab onto it. And a good handful of patients who have really changed their lives, and they've kind of seen the light that actually what they do day to day, their nutrition choices from meal to meal, really do make a difference in how they feel, what their lab results look like, and their long-term health. So, losing weight, getting their blood numbers under control is very gratifying to them. And once they realize they can do it, that it's amazing.
You must feel gratified too, because it's
certainly.
not easy to change people's habits, but obviously you're interpreting the science well enough to them, maybe effectively enough so they can do that. That's really good. Angela, how about you with some of the patients you've had? Because you've dealt with people with chronic illnesses as well.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest, what you mentioned before with pressure ulcers, when we could finally get the pressure ulcers to heal, that was great, and get people to be eating a little bit better. In some of the situations, my residents would come in very malnourished, and you'll see them actually turn around and gain some weight and get healthier. And then, of course, their skin looks better, they feel better, they have more life to them, they can go out and do stuff. They rather than sitting in bed all day, they want to get out and actually meet other people. And just a total turnaround in attitude that I've seen in some of the residents that came in was incredible. And it's just from nutrition. It's amazing that eating better, or in some cases if they needed a tube feeding or something like that, to get them back to where they needed to be, how it could completely change someone's attitude and outlook. That's amazing. It was great to see.
And because they feel good. They feel good.
Definitely.
They have what they need.
Terrible when you're malnourished. I don't think people really realize how bad you can feel and how much, you see someone really turn it around. It's great.